We're going to take a look at Warrior 2 or Virabhadrasana 2. Okay? So when we take this shape from different entrances, sometimes from downward dog to step through to come up, or we do a wide stance, there's very many directions that we can get into it. The caution of this is that oftentimes we move the pelvis and the leg together. So when we come into Warrior 2, we're not quite sure what to do with our spine and our arms or where the stretch or the strength is really supposed to be. But interestingly enough, that your pelvis, if you can maintain the strength and the symmetry in the pelvis and move your leg independently of the pelvis, then you can stretch your inner thighs and your adductors and strengthen your legs and your rotators. And this pose becomes very therapeutic for your lower back. So when you take the entrance, we're going to do it first from standing, and then I can show you the entrance even from a vinyasa. So I'm going to take a wide stance and create this triangle at home so you can visualize it. From the top of your pelvis to your pubic bones, there's a triangular shape. So this is your pelvic bones. Your legs, your femurs actually move in walking independently from the pelvis, but we forget that and we become very frozen. So put your hands on your pelvis, strengthen up through your legs, and breathe into your rib basket. Now from here, create the natural curve of your spine. So it's neither too back-bended or too flexed. So feel that shape where your pubic bone flows back and balance that by pulling your belly up. Now from here, try this a few times. Lift your left toes up and turn, externally rotate your left leg out. Now, for a lot of us, that's going to be very challenging because we compensate and we start to turn in order to get the leg forward. So do that enough times that you might end up here. If you end up where your foot is just at an angle because your inner thighs are tight, then lift your heel up and wiggle your leg enough times that you can release your inner thigh and your adductor. Once you do that and you feel it release a little bit, lower your heel. Try to maintain, and this is what ends up happening is your knee because our inner thighs are tight. So try that enough times where you can maintain the strength and symmetry as you spin. Do a little bit, bend your knee. Do a little bit more, bend your knee. Do a little bit more, bend your knee. And then over time, make that adjustment where your back foot is basically neutral, not turned in and collapsed, and not turned out. Relatively neutral, but natural to your body. Try to maintain the natural symmetry of your pelvis and stretch your legs. You should start to feel a nice, good, healthy stretch between your inner thighs. Strengthen your legs, and then you can take your arms out shoulder height. Then when you turn your gaze, it's more of a rotation from your cervical spine, your neck, not letting your ribs follow. So there's a few things to practice and a few drills to practice coming in and out of the shape a few times. To come out, bend your knees, and step or jump in. Okay? Now from the vinyasa, it's a bit more challenging when I come up, but you can do it when you take your time. So lift your leg, step through, spin your back heel down, and when you come up, for a moment, you might have to take your hands to your hips, lift your heel, get that release, and then lower your heel, feel for symmetry, then take your arms out and gaze over your front hand. It's a bit of a quicker entrance and maybe a little more challenging, but the more you practice it, you'll get that healthy stretch between your inner thighs. To come out, you can vinyasa out or you can step or jump in. Make sure to try these skills on the other side.